Michael Waltz, our congressman, just joined us too. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning. Good to be with you.
Good. We're going to, Dr. Bickle, anything from you before we let you get on with your day, or any questions for Congressman Waltz?
The only thing is there's a lot of interest growing in these rapid, cheap diagnostic testing for COVID. That could be a real game changer. I don't know if you've heard about it, but for home testing. And there's a lot of excitement in the medical community about it. So that's the thing I'm going to be sort of talking about over the next couple weeks.
All right, very good. Dr. Bickle, thank you very much. Have a great weekend. And Congressman Waltz, good morning. Good to have you on the show today.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, good to be with you.
All right. Are you at home or are you in Washington?
I am in Washington, literally walking over to the Capitol building on the way to go vote on some appropriations bills. So we're still at it up here.
Okay, stimulus. Let's do some bullet points here. Stimulus, no deal in sight. What's the latest with that? We have so many Americans that are hurting, and stimulus funds ending. And give us an overview, if you would, please.
Sure. Well, right now looks like things are at a bit of a logjam over in the Senate between Democrats, Republicans, and the White House, mainly over the unemployment supplement. And I just want to remind everyone that the supplement being so discussed in the news is in addition to regular unemployment benefits that are administered through the state. So by watching some media outlets, you would think that there's a suggestion out there that folks want to cut all unemployment. No, this is a federal supplement on top of others. And the issue is, and I've heard from many businesses, I was actually just talking to a landscaping businesses that literally can't, businesses picked back up, fortunately, and they can't rehire their employees because their previously laid off employees are making more with this supplement on top of their state insurance than they were making while employed, and it's really hurting morale while they have their current employees out there in 98, 100-degree weather laying pavers. So we're hearing that from hospitality, restaurants, and others. And the problem with how the program's structured is a $600 supplement goes a lot further in a place like, in rural Iowa than it does in, say, downtown Manhattan. So it's really skewing the labor market in an unfortunate way across. So that's really the crux of one of the impasses, and the other is money for state and local governments. We've previously passed several $100 billion, and it's what can those monies be used for? We don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to bail out states that have mismanaged their finances, unlike Florida, which is solvent, is in the black, and needs some supplements, but not a bailout. And so those are really two of the key issues that we're debating right now. So the
reducing from 600 to 200, you're in favor of for the subsidizing?
It would depend on how long. Right now, the Democrats are proposing the 600 through next spring. That is an enormous amount of money, and I don't like to talk about this as though it's a pot of money that just exists in Washington. It's other taxpayer dollars. It's other people's money that are going to help others, and is taking away from other programs, or we're borrowing it from future generations. So one of the pieces that I'm asking for is an accounting of what monies are still unspent that we appropriated in previous Corona packages that are sitting out in agencies. Some are saying to the tune of up to $500 billion that we still haven't spent and fully accounted for. And should we shift those monies before printing more money? So those are all the things that we're trying to take into account.
Okay, the eviction protection, I was curious, and I have one of our county commissioners, Joe Mullins, who owns apartment houses and things like that. This is affecting him. But the eviction protection, that has ended, correct?
At the federal, my understanding, yes, but at the state level for state programs, that's been extended by Governor DeSantis. But I think to your point, one person's rent's another person's revenue. and another person's business, and that's what, again, that's the balance we're trying to strike.
So, all right, well, Joe Mullins, go ahead and if you would, talk with Michael Waltz from your concerns we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, first of all, I want to, Congressman Waltz, I want to thank you for being so engaged in the community and being here. Never before have I seen a congressman spend as much time in the area as you have, talking to businesses, talking to individuals, trying to make sure that we're getting represented well. Most of them seem to stay in the country clubs and sit back and have their security around them and have their drinks and want to attack our president. But you've really got out and engaged in the community, and I want to thank you for that. I've heard it all around the county that they've seen you, you've popped up. But one of the things as a landlord...
Thanks, Joe, but I mean, to that point, you all are the boss, right? The voters, the people we represent are my employers. So it would behoove me to go listen to my bosses before coming up and trying to take these very difficult votes. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you. So one of the things as a landlord, and I was asked about it, is how we're being impacted. I've got a lot of commercial properties, a lot of residential apartment complexes, and we've got tenants on all three scales that are coming to us and saying, look, we just can't pay rent. We weren't open. We weren't able to. Our government loans seem to be protected. We've got a variety of loans. They seem to be protected, and we've been able to get relief from them. They've done some deference, and those have been great. But some of the private loans that we have, personal on single family housing, I've heard this, on apartment complexes, on shopping centers. The private ones where they pool together money, their CNBC loans and different things like that, where they pool investor money together. When you go to them to talk to them, they're going, look, we understand you've got hardship. We're going to give you April, May, and June, but come July, you have to pay it in full all back. And the argument with a lot of landlords that I've met with throughout the county have said, look, we can't, if we can't pay it in April, if we could have paid it in April, we would have paid it. We're not going to be able to pay all of it at once in July. So they're being threatened with evictions or foreclosures, and it's just piling up. And the lender, one thing I talked to on the lender side, and it helps having this experience because I'm able to talk on both sides and I'm able to be a government representative that goes, hey,
Sure.
This is, it's why I say I love having you in there. You are a businessman. You've experienced it. You know what the pains and the pleasures are of owning a business. So I've talked to these lenders,
Joe,
and they said nobody.
If you could, though, I'm running out of time. I need for you to ask what your question is.
That's what I was going to do. Yeah. So what they've said is we can't get any relief from the government. We've been overlooked, and these are some major loans. They make up about 60% of the industry. They've been overlooked, and they have not got any offer of relief, and so they're trying, but at the end of the day, when they put pressure on us, we're left to put pressure on the individual, and the individual's scared to pay rent with the money they're getting because in their mind,
I get it.
They're worried about food.
No, I get it, right? And so all of this rolls upwards, right? If a small business or an individual or even a medium or large size business, is taking such a hit in revenue, that's one of the things we tried to shore up with the PPP program. Remember, we put out hundreds of billions of dollars that also can be used for rent, and I expect that program to be extended and businesses to get another bite at that apple to try to get it at kind of the retail end, the business end. But there are a number of relief programs. I'll look at this private one as well. So Joe, just send me over some information on that. But then you have people who own commercial properties. They're struggling and their businesses. We've tried to create programs where they can work with their banks, and then the ultimate backstop is the Fed, who's providing liquidity to some of these larger owners. But at the end of the day, the money has to come from somewhere, and that's where we're either borrowing at the federal level or shifting other tax dollars from other programs. But we can't print our way out of this problem. Ultimately, it's going to roll up into where someone has to pay the bill, and that's why we have to find a way to, in a balanced and safe way, to get the economy reopened as much as humanly possible. We just can't keep printing our way out of this problem, and that's why I wouldn't support what we were talking about earlier, extending these types of supplements all the way until spring.
Do you see, is there room for compromise and something to get passed before everything just stops?
Yeah, well, I do. They seem to be somewhat far apart at the moment, but if we look at, for example, the PPP program, if we look at liability reform so that people don't face lawsuits on top of COVID, social unrest, and other types of bankruptcies, I think there are some places where we come together. The question is, do people want to play politics through November, or do they actually want to come together, compromise? I mean, at the end of the day, America should be the goal here, not political wins, and that's what I'm here to do the extent I possibly can.
One thing before you go, SpaceCom. A lot of people don't know about SpaceCom, and I know you're excited about it, and we're trying to get it here. Give us a quick news story on that.
Well, we all know about the Space Force, new branch of the military. A lot of jokes come with it. I get it, but it's actually a very serious thing. The Chinese, the Russians, and others have developed the weapons and the capability to take out our satellites and our assets in space that our entire economy depends on. The 4-star command that kind of manages all of that is a number of states are competing for it. I have fought hard, as have Senator Rubio, Scott, the governor, to make the case for Florida. That competition's underway. I think that would be a fantastic win for Florida. This would be similar to Operations Command in Tampa, the Southern Operations Command that's down in Miami. We want to get that for Central and North Florida, along with the positions, the jobs, the contracts, and others that come with it. So we're making the case. Space is in our DNA, has been since the 1960s. The private sector, with what's going on with SpaceX, Blue Origin, and others, is incredibly exciting. We just launched a rover to Mars, along with, I'll add, the Chinese and the UAE. And then finally, let's all say a prayer. We have 2 astronauts that are up at the space station that launched it with SpaceX. We were able to get the president there for that launch. They're due to come home, and it'll be the first time we've had a private sector re-entry in that space capsule. So
okay. Hello. He's walking through the Capitol.
Yes.
Right? Okay,
yes,
we
gotcha.
Gotcha.
That should happen. Those astronauts should come home next week.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, and so I think Jacksonville. If you could say, all right, hey, Michael Waltz, we'll leave it up to you. Where does SpaceCom go? Would you say Jacksonville?
I think it'll end up going to, there's a number of places that are pushing. Cecil Field in Jacksonville is in competition. So is Patrick Air Force Base, that's right near Cape Canaveral, are the two locations closest to Flagler that are in the hunt.
All right, very good. Hey, I know we're out of time with you, and you've got a busy day. Thank you so much for spending time with all of us here in Flagler County.
Oh, thanks so much. Look forward to talking to you again soon.